woods that I first found. There's a mass more garlic than there was last year. And there's also a couple of other possible images that I've spotted that I think would work well, as well as the winding paths. Now, I don't understand why it grows in one area and not in another area. Where I'm stood now, there's a patch here and then it stops. Maybe it's a difference in soil type, I don't know. And the path that leads further on down there, it just stops. There is no light. One of these days I'm going to get to this wood where we're going to have light. In fact, there's so much garlic, parts of the path that I saw last time are covered. Oh, there's always something to moan about, isn't there? Now I've seen, we've got the odd bluebell and we've got some beautiful ferns. And because we're at the beginning of spring, they're really rich colours. And I'm not sure I can make an image with the ferns, but I want to try. But I've certainly seen a clump of bluebells, which probably need the long lens on. But I think by focusing in on the bluebells, I can then blur the mass of white in the background and that'll make the blue really pop. So I'm going to have a go at that one next. You're going to have to join me on the floor. I've mentioned earlier that I've spotted this clump of bluebells and I've spent about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, going left, going right, going up, going down, going portrait, going landscape orientation. And I couldn't get the desired effect or the image that I could see in my head. So I've ended up with the tripod flat on the floor, my backside in the dirt, polarizer on, 100 ISO, f7.1 and 1/116th of a second. And I am focusing, let me see, I don't want to tread on too many of these here flares, over here. I'm focusing on this clump of bluebells here. The garlic behind and most of the garlic in front, completely out of focus, lovely and soft. And then we have the tree stumps, or the tree trunks rather. Now I'd like it to be a lot brighter, but getting it brighter on the tree trunks will blow the garlic out and it will blow the bluebells out. Beautiful little bells. I might have to do a little bit of tweaking in post. Oops, not worried about the garlic, I just don't want to tread on bluebells. It's going to up the ISO. No, I'm not. I'm going to open the shutter right up because I want it bright and airy. And I'm having to be very careful not to knock the focus. That's better. I've gone up to a second now because I want it bright and airy. That's actually better, I believe. It puts the emphasis on the bells rather than the background, but it also gives some context because you've got the straight tree trunks and the brilliant, vibrant green in the background. So that was 1 second and f7.1 ISO 100. I'm not 100% that I like the out of focus heads of garlic in the front. I think they might be a little bit too much, but unless I go around with a pair of scissors and start snipping them, I'm a bit snookered. There's a lovely curve of bluebells here, but the background is just too tatty. There's twigs in the way, the trees aren't how I would like them, so I think I'm going to leave it at that one. Right, I'm going to wander on, get my next shot. I walked about 20 yards down the pathway and found the clump of bluebells that I saw on the way in. It wasn't that one. So I've lined this shot up. Again, I've spent about 5 minutes fiddling and faffing, moving in, moving out. I've had to go a little bit closer. I'm still on the 70 to 200. And I've gone portrait orientation on this image. Everything setting wise is exactly the same. ISO 100, f7.1, and I've done an image at a 1/16 of a second and 1/16 of a second and 1 second, because I don't know how bright I want the background. But I was finding a problem. Let me just turn you around a second. This is a little clump of bluebells, and I was focusing on the left hand cluster of flowers, and what I was finding was the right hand cluster was slightly out of focus. I thought, it's just how it is, because they're on a slightly different plane of what do you call it, focus. But then I thought, no, hang on a second, what happens if I focus on the right hand arch of the flowers? So I zoomed in on the live view, focused manually on that right hand curve of flowers, and hey presto, the left hand one came into focus. Little hint, if you're focusing on flowers and you've got more than one flower, so you've got such as that where you've got stems coming up and flowers going in each direction, focus on one. If it doesn't then focus on the other one, try focusing on the other one to see if it'll pull the other one, the first one, back into focus. I hope that makes sense. I didn't come here to shoot bluebells in garlic. Oh God, the smell. I mean, I'm not a huge lover of garlic in food. Actually, no, I'll tell a lie, I love garlic in food, I just don't like the taste the morning after. But this smell is wonderful. I came to shoot the curving paths. Hey ho. But I like that. I've gone portrait. Landscape just didn't work. And I've got a minuscule amount of cropping to do across the top of the image. But that's it. There's no other cropping, and there's nothing in the frame except the bluebells, which are pinned sharp, and then the garlic, which is just beautifully thrown out of focus. So there's just a carpet of white. Oh, I'm getting too old for all this crouching down, you know. Right, I'm finally shooting what I came to shoot, which is the wiggly path leading through the garlic. I think I'm doing the thing that I keep telling myself I really shouldn't do. Excuse me, it's actually getting quite warm in here. I'm comparing in my head the images I'm taking with the images I'm seeing on social media, which could be completely different woods, or they are completely different woods. They may have slightly better curves in them. The garlic might be better. They're better photographers. I don't know, but it's annoying that I'm comparing all the time, and I really need to stop. Slap, behave. Right, I'm going to spin you around, show you what we're doing. So we have this wiggly curve. I have shot it portrait and I have shot it landscape. I have stood here. I have come over here. I have zoomed in and I've zoomed out. And I'm really not sure which image I'm happiest with on the rear screen. Right, you'll possibly not make those out, because obviously the glare, and that's a portrait orientation one. That's the landscape one, which I'm not 100% on. I think it works. See, you've got the curve coming in here and reaching round. I think I actually prefer the portrait orientation ones where you've got the complete curve coming in. I'm really hoping this is focusing on this. And there we've got the double wiggle, which is what I really wanted. Just doesn't seem to work in landscape orientation. But we're going to keep trying. I've got one more idea for this curving path, which involves getting low down again. So give me a few minutes. I wanted to try something a little bit different, and having taken the images, I'm really not sure it's going to work. I've done a few image stacks, and what I wanted was a really low point of view to try and pick up the curve of the path. Unfortunately, it's not a totally defined pathway. There's leaves growing over it all the way, so you lose some of the dark earth. Might be fetchable outable. fetch outable, something like that, in post with a bit of burning. So as you can see, I'm well down on the floor. I'm absolutely flat as I can get. I'm on the 17 to 55 again, and I'm literally shooting that. I've got some of the trees in, little bit of sky coming through, but nothing major. And then just the green leaves and a mass of white. It almost looks like snow. Now on this image, I've done, I think, 3, maybe 4 shots to see if I can get as much of the garlic close to me in focus as possible. I did one from further back on a slightly different section of the curve, and I did about 10 shots on that one to try and get everything in focus. I'd rather overkill than get home and go, oh God, I've missed a bit. So yeah, I think that's been quite a good morning. I'm so pleased I came down here. And it is, I don't know, what is the time? 10 o'clock? Yeah, 10 o'clock. I've been out since 6. I've seen 3 people. It's crazy. It's rained a little bit. I'd hoped that the rain would come down and put some moisture on the leaves, because that would really add a lovely sheen to them. But no such luck. It's not getting through the canopy of trees. But hey ho, still been a good morning. I've got the image that I came for, which was the winding path. I've got a couple of images with bluebells that I didn't expect to get at all. And I've tried something a little bit different. Whether it's going to work or not, I've no idea. We'll wait and see what happens in post. And that's it. I'm not doing any more wild garlic. I'm not doing any more bluebells. That's my fill for this year. Next year, as I say, I might come back. Fingers crossed we get some light, and that would just lift the whole image. We can hope, can't we? So thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the images. Have a great week, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye for now.